Are you headed to Las Vegas for the WagerTalk and Sports Memo meet and greet? Well, we want to make your trip easier by discounting our 3-day all-access packages to only $39 with no coupon needed. This offer is valid from Wednesday, August 17th through Sunday, August 21st, and is good at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo with no limit to how many handicappers you can lock up for $39 each. So if we're going to see you at the Westgate this weekend or not, enjoy this incredible 3-day package special. That's right, get a 3-day package from your favorite handicapper for the price of a 1-day all-access.
Welcome into First Pitch for Thursday, August 18th. I am Drew Martin, joined by Dave Koken and Brian Leonard of WagerTalk.com. We're breaking down 3 games on the slate. We got best bets at the end. We're talking Mets and Braves, top of the NL East. We got the Blue Jays and Yankees, 2 playoff teams. And last, the Red Sox at the Pirates. Before best bets, guys, let's get into it. Dave, starting off with you, a good matchup here, Mets and Braves. We got DeGrom versus Fried. This has kind of playoff feel written all over it. Total of 7, minus $1.25. That's the Metropolitans as the road favorite. Are you liking anything in the ATL tonight, Dave?
Yeah. Speaking of the playoffs, the Braves might be getting a little bit of a boost here. Mike Soroka, very talented guy who's had just an enormous number of injuries. He rehabbed on Tuesday, his first rehab start. This was for Rome in High A, and he looked great. So keep an eye on that, because if Soroka's able to contribute come October, I'll tell you, the Braves get a little bit better than they already are, and they are the defending world champs. As far as tonight goes, well, look, I can't tell you that I'm hot in baseball right now, because I'm sure not. But at least one thing I've done is stayed away from trying to beat Jacob deGrom. Forget that. This guy is he's incredible. When he's right, he's as good as you'll ever see on the mound. So I don't want to go against him. Max Fried's going to be motivated tonight. It's a big game. This does have a playoff feel to it. And that being the case, I'd look for the pitchers to dominate in this game. Not too worried about DeGrom, and really not all that worried about Fried either. I'll go under first 5 here. After that, the pitchers might be out of there. Not like DeGrom's going to throw 9 innings. Fried unlikely to as well. I don't want the bullpens. So I will just stick with the first 5 here and make the obvious play on the under.
Okay, start Dave and Brian coming to you next. To Dave's point with Jacob DeGrom, 34 consecutive starts, giving up 3 earned runs or less. That's 4th longest in Major League history. Heck of a run for him. I'm not going to look to step in front of that. Are you liking anything in Cobb County tonight, Brian?
Yeah, there's so many ways to attack this from the same angle that Dave's looking at. DeGrom has a 50% strikeout rate so far this season. It's just been amazing. I thought all along, I thought the reason why he kept getting hurt is because he kept trying to throw at maximum level all the time. And when he came back, I thought he was going to start taking something off. Sure enough, I watched the first game, and the second pitch is 102 miles an hour. He has not changed at all. I think something to do with his angle a little bit from the release angles might be slightly different. He said he went through and looked at some film, so he's trying to stay healthy. And if he's healthy, this Mets team is going to be tough to beat. And he has just been phenomenal the last few years when he is healthy. Many ways to look at this game. You take a look at, if you're one that likes to play strikeout props, it is high. It's 9.5. for DeGrom, but I still like the over at plus 130 because you take a look at this Braves lineup, they all swing and miss a lot, and that could be their demise come the playoffs. We've seen what the Yankees lineup has done over the last couple of weeks here with the big strikeout numbers. You just take a look at that Atlanta Braves lineup, and really, other than Travis Denard, everybody's in the blue. None of them have good strikeout numbers. So I think it'll be a big day for DeGrom if he's healthy in this game and pitches long enough. I think that's a nice play at plus 130. You can also play the Mets in the first 5, as Dave pointed out. You can play the net Mets in the first 5. You can play the under in the first 5. You can play the Braves scoring under in the first 5. So that's the way I'm looking at this game. I'll be back with the best bet on this in just a bit, but to me, plenty of ways to take Jacob deGrom at a reasonable price. We're not going to see too many times where we can get him. He's on the road, and he's playing the national champions. So pretty good price here. I like the Mets. I like all the deGrom props, and we'll get to that at the best bets.
Good stuff, Brian and Dave. Next game up, Brian, coming back to you. We get the Blue Jays and the Yankees. Berrios and Montez, -140, 8.5 the total in Yankee Stadium. You liking anything here, Brian?
I don't really trust either one of these starters in this game, as opposed to, like Dave was talking about the last game, just two excellent starters. Frankie Montas is good. There's no doubt about it. But he hasn't been fully healthy. That is a concern. He's very good at strikeout rate, 24.8, walk rate 7.1. But other than that, he's pretty much an average pitcher. But if you take a look at Jose Barrios, other than his 5.8 walk percentage, he's just been terrible all season long. His barrel percentage this far in the season, and this is a guy they spent a lot of money for, it picked up 11.2% barrel rate. That's not very good. And Montas is 8. So you got two guys that are willing to seem to be willing to give up the long ball, and you got two teams that can strike it. So Yankees and Blue Jays here. I think the best way to take a look at this game is to play it over. Two guys that are not as good as their name recognition. And if you take a look at these lineups, even though they're a little bit depressed, the Yankees got some guys out. I believe LeMahieu may be coming back today. So I look for the over in this game. I think that's the better play.
Dave, are you liking anything in this AL East matchup?
Yeah, a little bit. Yankee Nation can exhale. That walk-off grand slam last night was really big for them. The team has not been hitting at all. I mean, they've just been an incredible slump considering some of the bats that they've got. The fact they weren't hitting at all was just weird. Well, they walk off the field in grand style last night, and I think that eases the pressure on this team quite a bit. And I would expect, look, I don't think they're going to get back to playing the way they were early in the season. They don't really need to be quite frank. But I think the worst of times is over for the Yankees, and you'll start to see them trend back in the positive direction. The Blue Jays, they've got a good lineup too, but they're just not hitting right now. And that's a bad loss for them last night. I mean, they've got to be feeling like they're going to walk out of Yankee Stadium with a nice win, and instead give up the big shot in the extra innings after taking the lead against Chapman and take a tough loss. I give Montes the edge. He's not pitching great well by any means, but Brian already pointed out the vulnerabilities on Barrios. And in a sense, maybe that walk rate being so low is the problem. He's throwing too many strikes. The idea is to get guys to swing at pitches that are balls. You want them chasing. You don't have to chase against Barrios. He's always in the strike zone. And that is contributing, I think, to the high barrel rate. It's an alarmingly high rate. You get up 11, double digits at this time of year with that many innings already pitched. That's a bad barrel rate. And the Yankees have some guys who can launch the ball out of the stadium, and it doesn't take much to get home runs in Yankee Stadium unless you hit it to dead center. I like the Yankees here. I think they have momentum from last night, and even at a -140 or 145 tag, this is a 2% play for me. It is my best bet here on the show, so I'll just recap that briefly when we get to that portion. But I like the Yankees in this game.
I like it, Dave. Good start here, guys. The first two games, one game left. We're heading to arguably the best stadium in MLB, PNC Park here in Pittsburgh, the Red Sox and the Pirates. Dave, we get Brubaker on the hill for the Pirates, 8.5 the total. Looks like about -150 price tag for the Red Sox. Red Sox only 4 games back in the AL wildcard race here, Dave, and Pittsburgh losing 6 straight. You liking anything in PNC tonight?
Well, it might be a great ballpark, but it better be a great ballpark because the team that calls the ballpark home they're just bad all the time. And they are showing signs. This happens to some teams that are out of contention. We've seen it on a regular basis with the Angels, seeing it with the Pirates too. Just some really bad fundamental baseball. The focus just isn't there. And it really shows up on defense. The Pirates, they've done some really bad things defensively lately, and that's contributed to the 6-game losing streak. Brubaker, he's the type of guy who he can look absolutely terrific for 3 innings, and then in the 4th inning get blown up. When he loses his command, he loses it big time. Winkowski's been a pleasant surprise for Boston. He gets ground balls. He's not going to blow anybody away with his stuff, but, he's been better than I thought he would be. The Red Sox, who I'd quite frankly given up for dead, I still don't think they're a playoff team, but, that series against the Yankees gave them some life. They've gone in and played well at Pittsburgh. I would expect them to pick up another win tonight. The Red Sox are nobody for me.
I agree with you, Dave. And Brian, maybe in conclusion here, Boston, I do think they have life. Maybe it is that Yankees series, and they do find themselves in playoff contention here. They're going deep. And on the other side, I always think baseball betting, a thing of trends here. Pittsburgh now at the bottom of arguably the weakest division in baseball. They've lost 6 straight. I can only look at the Red Sox here. How do you feel in PNC tonight, Brian?
Yeah, one thing I want to agree on, Pittsburgh Stadium is beautiful. That's my favorite. Been to a lot of them. San Francisco is really nice. But I took my shot on the Pirates yesterday with Contreras on the mound, a young guy who had just come back from the minors. Are trying to limit his innings a little bit. I think he's the future of their pitching staff. But, I gave him a shot yesterday. I'm not coming back on him again today. Boston's a team that's playing really well right now. They won 3 straight, 5-5 the last 10 after we had written them off. I believe they're 4 games out of the playoffs right now, and anything can happen. Pittsburgh's a team, after the day is over, I always look and I say, why did I not just bet against Pittsburgh? Now, a lot of it, obviously, is the lines. But this is a competitive line here when you take a look at this. I think Boston's only laying, 150, 155 in this range. That's not a bad number to lay in this one. And I agree with a lot of what Dave said about the pitchers in this matchup. So there's only one way I could look at here is Boston. But I don't know if I'm going to get there. But that's the only way I would look is the Red Sox. You got to fade Pittsburgh. They just didn't show up with their best pitcher yesterday. And Brubaker's a guy who's been up and down. He gives you what he gives you. You know what you're going to get out of him. And that's not going to be enough to beat Boston most of the time.
Good stuff, guys. The first 3 games in the books. We got best bets going right now. Dave Koken, Brian Leonard. I am Drew Martin. Dave, throw it over to you. Best bets, final thoughts for the show. Guys, check out Dave Koken, WagerTalk.com. #1 all-time college football profit leader. He's got a 4% free play up. Check it out on his page. He's got his packages up and available for college football. Knows his baseball as well. Dave, I'll throw it over to you. Final thoughts, best bets.
Yeah, 3 college football games for the opening weeks of the season so far. There'll probably be a couple more additions, but 3 best bets, and one of those is a free play. The other 2 you have to buy, but I think they're all good plays. In fact, I think they're all real good plays. So college football is here as far as I'm concerned, although it doesn't officially kick off until next week. My baseball's been really cold this week, just in the freezer. So tail with caution if you're going to tail. If you're going to fade, well, can't say that's a bad move based on the way the plays have gone this week for me. Give you a quick example, by the way. I had a push on the Tigers-Guardians first 5 last night. I mean, there's 5 innings of baseball. There's 1 extra base hit, and it was a double. If you bet the under, first 5 in a game where there's 1 double, few singles, you're going to win most of the time. I didn't. I got a push. Why? 7 free passes between walks and hit batters. And it's just the way it's going for me right now in baseball. But anyway, I made the Yankees a 2% play today. It's the only play I made, not a big play, and I'll use it for the best bet here in the show. And if you want the analysis, just check back to a few minutes ago and find out why I like the Yankees tonight.
On the Bronx Bombers, Dave Koken. We got Brian Leonard as well for the last 5 MLB seasons in the positive. Brian, I know you know your college football as well. NFL, man, what do you got for final thoughts for the show, and where are you going for best bets?
Well, first off, Dave kind of joked about fading his plays. If you're fading Dave Koken, I'll just book your action right now. Dave's been great in every sport, and he doesn't put out a lot of plays, doesn't put out a lot of big plays. I mean, if you're looking for somebody year round, get Dave Koken. Dave's good at everything he does. Doesn't put up a ton of plays. A lot of guys are very good at putting up a lot, but Dave's doesn't put up many, but he wins. So don't go fading Dave Koken. Yeah, it's been rough on me lately in Major League Baseball too. So I'm not. I don't have much going today. The only play I actually have up is what I use for the free play on the site, and I'll use it right now. That's the Mets. Jacob deGrom, can't go against Jacob deGrom. You likely will never see him in this price range again the rest of the year, as long as he is healthy. And if you are somebody that plays those props, I would love to play the over 9.5 at plus 130 to get that kind of payback for deGrom, who's facing an Atlanta team where everybody in this lineup strikes out. So give me the Mets. I think the Mets come up with a great game here, and I'm excited to watch. It should be another great one, as these two teams have really done a lot of battle this year, and it's been a lot of fun to watch.
I second what Brian said about Dave. You know, quality over quantity in this business, looking towards Dave Koken. And Brian, he knows his stuff as well. Don't let him fool you there with the modest kind of behavior. He is a heck of a baseball handicapper and knows his college football as well. And having said that, I'm on the same best bet as him. The Mets minus 125 for a lot of the same reasons. Just the stat again, guys, 34 consecutive starts for Jacob deGrom, 3 earned runs or less. That's 4th longest in MLB history. This is a sport where I love to bet on trends. That is a heck of a trend. Plus the fact on the other side, Max Fried, good pitcher in his own right, but off of 12 days of no starts, he's off of the IL concussion. Sometimes that could be a little, tricky handicap there. The Mets have also on the season series 9-6 over the Braves. So I think they win here. And to Brian's point, a low price with deGrom on the hill. So I'm on the Mets minus 125. So guys, in the recap, we got 2 Mets bets, Metropolitans minus 125 for myself and Brian, and Dave on the Yankees minus 145. So for Dave Koken, Brian Leonard, check them both out, WagerTalk.com. I am Drew Martin. Guys, this is the last show for the week. If you're in Las Vegas, come to the Westgate Saturday night, 5 p.m., I believe, right around then. Hey, come a little early, come a little later. The games will be on. It will be a fun time. And if you're not in Las Vegas, hey, head to Las Vegas. I don't want to say they're cheap flights, but definitely can find one. So for Brian Leonard, Dave Koken, I am Drew Martin. Feel free to reply below. Huge shout out to the chat box as always. Please smash that like button if you're liking the content. Best of luck, guys. We'll talk on Monday.
Are you headed to Las Vegas for the WagerTalk and Sports Memo meet and greet? Well, we want to make your trip easier by discounting our 3-day all-access packages to only $39 with no coupon needed. This offer is valid from Wednesday, August 17th through Sunday, August 21st, and is good at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo with no limit to how many handicappers you can lock up for $39 each. So if we're going to see you at the Westgate this weekend or not, enjoy this incredible 3-day package special. That's right, get a 3-day package from your favorite handicapper for the price of a 1-day all access.